whenever I make videos, I try to be very positive, and even if I feel that the product is not really the best quality or the nicest product or the best made software, I try to see like at least some sort of compromise, that it doesn't cost as much, or there is still good usability in certain situations. But I think with these Temu worklights, I really hit the junk part of the Temu stuff, where you order something cheap and you think that, oh, maybe it's not going to be that bad, but actually they are bad, and they are really just trash products that shouldn't be made in the first place, because most probably they will end up in the landfill. And I don't think it really has to be that. It's just really small things that maybe they could have added or did in a different way, and just to make them much more usable. But for some reason, the manufacturers didn't do that. And I don't really understand that, whether they were just, copying something. Whoever produces it doesn't understand the electronics, and they were only manufacturing the cases or something. But yeah, so I mean, probably the only excuse I can do is that because both of them are solar powered, maybe this could be only used as some sort of emergency lights, because it's one single package. You don't have to worry about them. So you put it onto your maybe you have a garage window, you can put it onto the windowsill, and it's going to trigger charge itself. So if the power goes out, you definitely have something which is charged up and provides some sort of very limited illumination. And the main reason I'm saying that these are junk, because I'm going to show you some tests the results of the test. But these lights, they put off like a really good show, and in 2 minutes or maybe in 10 minutes, the initial light output drops like 1/5 or 1/10 of the original light output, and it just makes them useless. I mean, if you need a light to get your key to run into the garage, or like if you have a shed at the end of the end of your yard, and you need to get there, okay, you only need lights for like 10 minutes, yeah, maybe they are fine. But anything else, they are useless. And to be honest, as I was reviewing my emails and where they ordered stuff, so one was then probably the smaller one was $6.69, and that item is discontinued. And this bigger one, that was $18, which I don't think that it definitely doesn't worth $18. And yeah, that one is even showing up as a different product, like the product images are not like this one. I mean, they have like bigger reflectors. So they changed this stuff willy-nilly. They try to push out like a single batch. They are hoping to get rid of it, and then they just move over to something else. So for me to give you some data, let me show you the statistics that I did. So I have a light meter, and well, I place it in the garage. I put these lights 1.5 meters away from that light meter, and I just turn it on, and that light meter started logging the illumination levels. So this is not calibrated. I have some reference lights that you can compare it with. But it's not really the amount of light they produce, is how much it changes over time. And I was doing this about like a couple of weeks ago, so obviously I could only do the recording when it was dark outside. So these lights do last for a long time, and sometimes I just had to cut the testing because it was morning, and the morning light interfered with the readings. But I think regardless of how long they last, the fact that the light level changes so much, it just makes them so much unusable. So I have a couple of logs here. So I have the so let's say the small light. So the small light is, so that's the small light, and that's the big light. And as you can see, the small light has just a single type of LEDs, and these LEDs here are red and blue, so they can do like a police siren. And here we have different set of LEDs. We have cool white and warm white, and also red and blue for the thingy. So you can configure this to show cool light, warm light, or both of them at the same time, and both of them can be set to three different dim levels. I haven't even tested all the dim levels because I think it was just useless. So you see this small light at full brightness, and then it starts at 125 lux, or I think it's lux, but as you can see, it started like 5 minutes after 6, and after half an hour that dropped to 76. So that's already like 2/3. So that's not even that bad. If you will see the second one, that's much more horrible. So I think that's, I mean, it is so annoying that it starts off with a amount of light and it just drops so much in the last 10 minutes, or even if you look at this, like, you know, so that's 605, 607, it's already down to 107. So it's almost like 50% down. Oh, sorry, not that much. Sorry, 125 to 100, and then 90, you know, like every 10 minutes it drops so significantly. And I did use them, and it's not like that you can get used to the light level. It is really noticeable. And I can't really explain this initial drop because of, you know, how the battery depletes, because these are, apparently they are using lithium-ion batteries, and the voltage curve in the lithium batteries are nothing like that. So it's more like that. So I think this is where actually the battery runs flat back, because I think that's the normal curve for a lithium battery. But as you can see, it just slowly drips down, and then by the time it starts really dropping, it's at 48. So that's already less than 50% of the original light level. And then it starts tapering off. But as you can see that until this point, it has maintained light for about 4 hours. So that wouldn't be that bad if it wouldn't start from such a high level. And for the same, if I did mid, then, you know, there is no peak in the beginning. So then it starts 50, and then, but again, it lasts pretty much the same amount of time. It did last a slightly bit longer. But as you can see, this mid-level is not like mid-level, it's just chopping up the initial really high burst, 10 minutes. But then other than that, it's pretty much, performing the same way. So I started the test here half an hour earlier, but I still managed to last only like, 11 o'clock. So this 40 something is not much, but it's definitely more than a lot of candles. And then they do have a really, widespread light. So if you would hang it in like a tent in camping, yeah, it would give you like a decent overall illumination. But if we move it to the big light, and that was the cool light. So again, it started at 232, and then, so that was what, 514 and 534. So after 20 minutes, it just dropped down to 40. So from 230 to 40. So that basically this big light, after 20 minutes, it performs the same level as the small light did. Pretty much like, well, even performs less. It performed the same way as the small light did really at the end of 4 hours. So, I mean, it's just useless. And the big light didn't drop off at the after 4 hours. So I'm guessing that it would be able to run in this very low level for, maybe a couple of hours before it starts really dimming down to nothing. And for this bigger light, even if I included both of the cool and the warm white LEDs. So it did start about the same level, and then it also gone to 41. And and in this test, I started the test at midnight, and then I finished at 6 o'clock. So definitely has enough juice in it, and it can run for many hours on this very low light level. But I don't get this. I don't think this peak. Then advertise that this is a lousy, background light just to give you general illumination, because that's what it does, and just, cut the crap at the first 20 minutes, because it is absolutely useless. And in order to give you some comparison, and that's the reason I was a little bit, mad, because you have these huge lights. I mean, they are big. They are not heavy, but they are big. And I have this headlamp, which I usually use And I bought this from Decathlon, the French outdoor chain. And let me just look at the data because I've taken some measurements with this. So this headlamp was producing a light level of 80. So that's still twice the light level output than any of these at the end of their life. And this can also run for about 2 or 3 hours. And then just look at the, the size difference and the volume difference. So that's why I'm saying that these are trash. They are absolutely useless. And by the way, in terms of when especially the big one starts really bright, that was 210, 240. So I have a 20 watt LED floodlight. So that was producing 200 light level. So, it looks good. You turn it on and it looks impressive, but then just keep running for another 20 minutes and you realize that it's complete garbage. And I mean, I don't really want to talk about them anymore. Other than that, I mean, the construction is basic. It doesn't feel very sturdy. There is a lot of plastic in it, but most probably it's, cheap, brittle plastic. So if you would drop this, they would probably shatter. And they just have a USB-C input for charging. They have a USB output for, to charge your phone. And you can check there is an indicator light. Obviously, there are the solar panels. They don't remember the modes, so you just have, if you want to turn them off, you have to cycle through all the different modes, which I find extremely annoying. And I think this small one looks a little bit better because first of all, it's smaller. I think the solar panels are much better on this one because I've noticed that these lights did you see the lights? Yeah, so even from this studio light, this started producing some electricity. I don't think that the other one does that, but definitely it picks up, power much quicker even from overcast days than this one. So, it's smaller and it doesn't do the very, very extremely high output. So if I would choose something, I would still choose this one, but that was the product that got discontinued. So yeah, go figure. I didn't really have the opportunity to test the solar panels, mostly because it's winter. There's a lot of overcast day. I think I had one good day where I was able to put this on it's like a decent winter sun for a couple of hours, and they did manage to go up one battery level, which is not bad because that means that on the summer, if you pay attention and maybe keep focusing or turning the light towards the sun, potentially you can give it a full charge in a single day, but definitely in 2 days. So the solar panels are not particularly useless. So they do have some, validity to them, but probably I would more use them to keep these lights topped up during, just, idle days, and you can use them as an emergency lights if you need them. I don't think I should really waste any more time on these, so there you go. For the sake of completeness, I'm going to include the links in the video description. But that should be all for today. Thanks for watching and hopefully see you next one.